The guidelines are fully cut now. I have been standing in front of the prepared section for 20 minutes documenting the change, and I want to record the detail carefully before the next phase of the experiment, because once we begin the alignment test, the conditions will not be static, and I will not be able to reconstruct this moment afterward with the same precision. The guide geometry that became visible after the assessment pause last night is not identical to what Hannah sketched from the surface texture. Her sketch captured the structure correctly: the radiating preparation, the center mass point, the approximate dimensions. What the self-completed lines add is precision. The arcs are exact. The reference points are evenly spaced to a degree that surface texture alone could not have implied. Whoever designed this fitting did not estimate the geometry. They calculated it. I have measured the prepared section again now that the lines are legible. The fitting is 61 centimeters wide and 38 centimeters tall. Those are not round numbers. They are specific. They mean something to whoever set them, the way a surveyor's measurement means something. Not an approximation, a specification. I look at the second key. I look at key 47 in my jacket pocket, the bow visible above the fabric. A key lying flat, bow upward, blade downward, centered on the fitting's midpoint. I am doing the calculation in my head, and I'm not writing it down yet because I want to complete the measurement first. The two keys laid parallel, bows adjacent, would span approximately 60 centimeters. The height from the top of a key's bow to the bottom of its blade, for keys of this period and mechanism, would be between 35 and 40 centimeters depending on proportions, 60 by 35 to 40. I write, fitting dimensions consistent with paired key placement, not confirmed. Hypothesis, I underline hypothesis. Hannah has been at the organized marks since early morning. She came back once for water and went back without saying much. When she returns now, she has 4 pages of notes, and the expression she has when the interpretive work has outrun the evidence, and she is deciding how much of the gap to acknowledge. She spreads the notes on the rock shelf beside me. Sketches, symbol tracings, spacing measurements. She has been trying to read the existing marks as a syntactic structure, not translate them, which is not possible without a key, but understand the grammar, the relationship between elements. What precedes what modifies what the prepared section's position in the sequence tells her about the function of what would go there. She says, the marks before the gap are cumulative. Each one adds to the previous. The sequence builds toward the terminal position. She points to the prepared section. Whatever goes there doesn't add to the sequence. It closes it. I ask what she means by closes. She says, a statement that has been building toward a conclusion. The existing marks are the argument. The prepared section is where the conclusion would be recorded. She looks at the guidelines. Not a record of what happened. A record of what becomes true when the condition is met. I sit with that. A consequence written in advance of the event that produces it. The stone prepared to receive a mark that cannot be placed until something happens, and the system prepared the geometry now, last night, because something is happening. The assessment pause ran, the investigators were recorded, the guidelines completed themselves, the condition is forming. The mark has not been placed because the condition is not yet fully met. I do not say this to Hannah, I write it at the bottom of my notes, small. Maren has been at the water's edge since dawn. She has not come to examine the marks. She is watching the cove entrance, the open water beyond, which is either a navigational habit or something else. When I walk down to where she is standing, she does not turn. I ask her how she wants to approach the alignment test. She says, carefully. I wait for more. She says, the site recorded you last night, all 3 of us. That means the system has a baseline now. It knows what conditions were present during the assessment. If you approach alignment and those conditions change, the system will register the difference. She pauses. Keep the configuration consistent with last night. Same positions relative to the stone. Same key separation. I ask if she means we should test it from the same distances as last night. She says, start from the same distances. See if the interval responds before you move closer. She finally turns and looks at the prepared section. The system already knows what you're carrying. The question is what it does when you bring it toward completion. That is the most operational guidance she has given. Still no explanation of mechanism, no theory of origin, just procedure. How to move through a system she has partial knowledge of, derived from watching someone else move through it badly. I go back to the prepared section. Hannah and I establish positions that match last night's configuration as closely as I can reconstruct it. I am standing approximately 3 meters from the prepared surface, second key in my right hand, left hand at the outside of my jacket pocket where key 47 sits. Hannah is to my right, 4 meters from the surface, with the device. The device is still stationed, pointing at the prepared section, continuous tone, secondary frequency present beneath it. The interval is running. I count it, 11 seconds, steady. Maren is at the water's edge behind us. I can hear her boots on the rock shelf. She has not come closer. I step forward 2.5 meters from the surface. The interval continues at 11 seconds. I step forward again. 2 meters. The device oscillation begins. The movement between the keys that first appeared yesterday when I took the second key from the bag. The breathing quality. Moving between the 2 keys. 11-second period. I tell Hannah. She confirms the oscillation is visible in the device behavior. I step forward. 1.5 meters. The interval tightens, not dramatically, 10.5 seconds, then 10. The same response as yesterday when I moved the key toward the surface. But yesterday I was testing single object proximity. Today both keys are present and separated, and the tightening is faster for the same distance. The sight is reading both. I stop at 1.5 meters and hold position. The interval stabilizes at 10 seconds. The oscillation continues. The device remains stationed. Hannah says quietly, "The guidelines are responding to your position." I look at the prepared section. She is right. The cut lines are not different, not deeper, not changed in character, but the way they read in the light has shifted. The geometry is more apparent. The center mass point, the fitting specification, the arcs that define the placement area. It is as though the surface has become more itself, more definitively what it was prepared to be. I take the second key from my right hand and hold it flat in my palm, bow upward, blade down. The natural position for placing a key against a surface. The interval tightens to 9 seconds. Maren says, from behind us, "Do not let them settle." I am not letting anything settle. I have not moved the key toward the stone. I have only changed how I am holding it. The system read the change in grip. Hannah says, "Ask for the other one." I look at her. She says, "Key 47. Take it out of the pocket. Don't bring it closer. Just have it out." I reach into my jacket and take out key 47. I hold it in my left hand, flat in my palm, the same way I am holding the second key in my right. Both keys, both hands, both flat and facing upward, still separated by the width of my body. The interval tightens to 8 seconds. The oscillation between the keys increases, faster movement in the device tone, the breathing quality becoming something closer to a pulse. I look at Hannah. She has the device angled to show me the face. The directional indicator on its surface is moving, not dramatically. A slow rotation, almost imperceptible. The device is still primarily stationed at the prepared section, but the indicator has drifted fractionally, as though it is becoming aware of something in addition to the stone. I hold both keys and wait. The interval tightens to 7 seconds. Maren says, "That's the limit. Do not go past 7. I hold position, 7 seconds. Both keys flat in both hands, 1.5 meters from the prepared surface. The guide geometry visible and precise. The oscillation is fast now, the device tone moving between the keys at a rate I cannot count individually, a continuous cycling rather than a back and forth. The secondary frequency beneath it is louder than I have heard it. Not loud in the room sense, loud in the body sense, present in my sternum and jaw in a way that is not hearing. I'm about to ask Hannah what the device face shows when she says, "Bring them together." I stop. She says, "Not touching. Bring them toward each other, palms facing, the keys parallel." I look at Maren. Maren does not say stop. I turn my palms to face each other. The keys are now parallel, held horizontally, separated by the width of my chest, 20 centimeters between them. The interval drops to 6 seconds. I bring my palms slightly closer, 15 centimeters, 5 seconds. Closer, 10 centimeters, 4 seconds. I stop. My hands are 10 centimeters apart, keys parallel, both flat, both facing the prepared surface, both facing each other. The guide geometry of the prepared section is directly in front of me at arm's reach. The fitting is at eye level. The center mass point is exactly where the gap between the keys would be if I brought them the remaining distance. The interval is running at 4 seconds. Hannah is very still. Maren is very still. I hold the position and wait. The interval drops to 3, 2, 1, stops. No tone, no oscillation, no hull vibration through the rock shelf, no secondary frequency. The device in Hannah's hands has gone completely silent. The cove is quiet in the way that coves are not quiet. The water is there, the wind is there, the sound of the Morwenna on her anchor in open water beyond the headland, but the system is not there. The 11-second rhythm that has underlain every significant moment in this investigation since the tidal shelf is absent. The prepared section is in front of me. The guidelines are cut and clear. The fitting is prepared and waiting. I do not move. Hannah does not move. 3 seconds of silence. 4, 5. The interval does not return. Instead, the device in Hannah's hands moves. Not Hannah moving it. The device, a slow rotation in her grip. She tightens her hold to resist it, and I watch her knuckles whiten against the casing, and then she exhales and lets it move rather than fight it, and the device rotates in her hands until it is no longer pointing at the prepared stone. It is pointing out of the cove. Past the headland, past the launch at anchor, past the open water where the Morwenna sits on her mooring, 1/2 kilometer offshore, beyond, somewhere further out, northeast, open water, no land in that direction for considerable distance. Hannah looks at the device face. She says slowly, "The indicator is locked, not drifting, not searching. Locked, stationed the way it's stationed at the prepared section, but this time it is not at stone, it is at open water. At something in or beneath that water that the system has just connected to this site, to this experiment, to the keys in my hands." Maren speaks from behind us. Her voice is quieter than usual. She says, "It answered." I look at her. She is looking at the water beyond the cove entrance, not at the device or the keys or the prepared stone. I ask her what answered. She does not respond immediately. She is looking at the water the way she looked at the prepared stone yesterday. Not examining it, not analyzing it, waiting. The way you wait when you have recognized something and are deciding what to do with the recognition. Then she says, "Step back from the stone." I step back, 2 steps, then 3. The interval does not return. The device does not move from its new direction. The guidelines in the prepared section remain cut and clear and empty. I look at both keys, still in both hands, still parallel, still 10 centimeters apart. The fitting is at eye level behind me. The interval has not returned.